Hello and welcome to Autodesk Inventor 2013. This is our first tutorial and we're going to go through to design a car. Just a basic little toy car. So first step, new file, and we're going to be selecting a standard IPT. We're going to double click on that. That's going to open it up into our modeling space. With all 3D models we need to start with a 2D sketch and then extrude that. So to start with our sketch, we create 2D sketch. So I can click on here and it wants me to select what plane I want to work with. Being a lot of the work that we do with Inventor goes to the CNC machines later, it's important that we keep in mind what axis we're working on. So you can see front here, we want to keep working with the front axes. So front, and we can click over here, there we go. And you can see we've got X, Y, and Z's coming towards us. So I'm going to zoom out and I'm just going to pan 0 down at the corner, so I'm trying to work in the positive space here. And I'm going to start drawing the shape of my car. Bottom of the car, we're just going to make a line. That's awfully big. Let's make it a little smaller. We'll zoom in on it there. There's the bottom of my car. We'll add some arcs. A little bit of a bumper. Little rear bumper there. Let's make a bit of a modern looking sedan, or hatchback I should say. Looks like something straight out of Japan. Okay, so there's a basic shape of the car. You can spend a lot more time on this. It's just, this is fast for the tutorial. So sketch is finished. Now I need to finish my sketch. I can come up here, click Finish Sketch, and there we go. To extrude this, to make it into a 3D object, we need to select Extrude from under the Create tab on the ribbon bar. I click on Extrude, and by default it's selected the right profile. 1 inch though doesn't look right for this car, so let's bump it up. Let's see what 3 inches looks like. Yeah, maybe a bit more. 4 inches, maybe 4.5. There we go. There's some proportions that we like for the car. Its size on this doesn't matter. We're not worried about the dimensions. We'll look at them later on. Okay, so I'm happy. I'm going to click the check mark. And there's the start of my car. Now, it's got a lot of sharp corners, which cars would not have. So the next step that we're going to do is we're going to fillet off the corners. To do that, under Modify, we're going to select the Fillet tool. Click on Fillet, and it comes up. I need to select some things, so I click Selected. Let's just do a couple at a time, just to keep this easy. So there's 3 edges. Let's see what a 1 inch fillet looks like. So I enter 1 in the radius. Everything stayed blue, so that means I've got no errors. It's good. And I can click the check mark. And now I've smoothed that out. Let's go to fillet again. Let's catch those sides of the car. 1 inch looks a bit excessive here, so let's maybe go 0.5. See what that looks like. I'm happy with that. I click the check mark. Some more shape happening. Maybe we'll do these end little edges. Fillet. And we'll do these quite small just to add some subtle little fillets to the car. We'll get those ones at the back too. I can rotate around, pick that other one, and check. So there we go. I've got some nice fillets wrapping around my car. It's not the nicest of cars, but again, it's fast for the tutorial. Now, most toy cars are made hollow, save on cost, so let's make this one hollow as well. To do that, we're going to pick the Shell tool from under Modify. I click on Shell, and it comes up to this prompt. I could click here and remove faces, but I don't want to. For now, I'm just going to leave this the way it is. The default thickness is 0.1 of an inch, so let's hit the check mark and see if this works. If it gives us an error message, it means we need to go to a thinner thickness. But it didn't, so now we know this is hollow, despite we can't tell by looking at it. So, the next step that we're going to do is start adding the wheels to the car. To do that, we need to create a 2D sketch again. So back up here to the 2D sketch icon, I click on that, and I'm going to click on the side of the car where I want my wheels. To make the wheels, we'll use the circle tool, being wheels are round. So I click on the circle tool, and I'm going to make my wheels. So figure wheel would look good there. And again, I'm not too concerned about dimensions at this point. And we'll put a wheel up here. So you can see I've got my wheels in place. Now, my back wheel seems to be a lot larger than a lot smaller than my front wheel. So let's make those equal. I can go up to the constraints toolbar and select equal. I'll select this wheel, and then I'll select this wheel, and now they've gone down to the same size. Now my front wheel does look a little far away, so I could add a dimension on here. Dimension from there to there. And let's say 5.25. And now my wheels have moved down a little further, just to make it look a little more proportionate. I'm going to finish sketch, and now, like before, I need to extrude those wheels. So I click the Extrude tool. Now I must click my profile, and if you look, that's not how the wheel should look. So we're going to do a couple subtle changes. First thing, we're going to change our direction to symmetric, and that centers the wheel. So say we wanted our wheels to be 1/2 inch, we could go 0.5, and that's going to give us a preview for a 1/2 inch wheel. If that's not what you want, we can now use the Asymmetric tool, which is new to 2013. I can click on Asymmetric, and you can see that it gives me different thicknesses here. So let's see. Asymmetric. Got some other features here. Let's drop the drop down and see what it gives us. So asymmetric is giving us 2 different distances. Let's swap those. There we go. So we've got 0.5 on the inside, 0.25 on the outside. I'll click OK. Now you can see there's our wheels, but the wheels are only on one side of the car. We now need to rotate this car around to get the wheels on the other side. So I'm going to rotate with my cube so I can see my other side of the car, and I'm going to start another 2D sketch. Now, we're going to take full advantage of the constraints features to make sure things work properly here. Common mistake is to take your circles, draw them on the line, and they end up with automatic constraints. The easiest way to do this is just draw your circles wherever. Now we know that there's no constraints applied to those. So let's add some constraints to make sure that they match our other wheels. First thing, we're going to use equal again. So I click equal. I want this wheel and this wheel to be equal, and this wheel to be equal. There, now they're the same size, but they're not lining up. So the next step is to use a constraint called concentric. Now concentric means that 2 circles, 2 arcs, or an arc and a circle share the same midpoint. So if I click on that, I click on the circle, I click on the wheel, there we go, same center point. Click on that wheel, and center points are shared. I can go finish sketch, and you can see I've got my sketch in place. So let's extrude those again. Click extrude. Now I gotta select my profiles. Sometimes profiles don't select easily. So let's get this one. Oh, there we go. And move the mouse around so we can select that. There. So I've got the profile selected. Like before, we used the asymmetric option. And let's rotate this around. Last time we had 0.25 and 0.5. And there we go. So 0.5 on the inside, 0.25 on the outside. If that doesn't work the way you want it, we can switch that, but we had it right the first time. So we're going to hit OK, and now our toy car has got some wheels on it. And that's going to be the end of part 1 of this tutorial.